Vogue Entertainment back again with another review of Outer Banks. We're looking at this episode 2. It's called The Bells. I wish with Outer Banks that they didn't release every episode at the same time. I would just much prefer it if they actually, released it weekly. I feel like TV shows do better. I mean, of course, yes, in terms of binging, it's better, but in terms of content and actually looking forward to stuff over like a series of weeks, I'm not a fan of this. Like we recently had, The Last of Us, a lot of hype around it. I mean, we've buried it on the channel for how woke it is, but in terms of this show, like and other shows that just release in bulk, I mean, the Korean shows kind of release in, not kind of, they do release in bulk, and I'm not really a fan of it personally. But at the beginning of the episode, the Pogues they basically get to this like abandoned hotel, and it looks like that's where they're going to stay. But JJ reveals that he stole Jimmy's phone, and that they're going to use Jimmy to set up a meet with Carlos and try and like say that they've kidnapped some of the Pogues. Therefore, they've got John B and Sarah. But the problem with this is, right, Jimmy's dead, right, and you've got Sarah and Pope who are kind of against this idea, but they're kind of outnumbered 3-2 because it was Big JJ that came up with this, which is pretty funny. But throughout this episode, we see Big John, Limbre, those two, they're at this like church, and Big John just starts ringing the bell, and we see like throughout the episode John B brother is like listening to it, and then we get like flashbacks to when he was a kid and when his dad used to call him home, and so he completely recognizes these noises. There's two ways you can take this, right? Well, one is that, why is he so like wondering about if it's his dad, if his dad's like the only guy that knew this tune by the Bells? Was it that? I'm not too sure, right? Don't understand any of that personally. But back to the task at hand, like, yes, Dad did that for him to get home, but his dad literally could have just like copied the tune. Like, it's not like Big John has copyright to this Bell tune. But again, he does this throughout the episode, and it's almost like he's just waiting on Sarah's permission to leave the group and go do it. And I get it, they're kind of on the run, right? But is John B truly need it? I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I think the boys looked very weak in this episode, which I'm going to get to. But yeah, back to like Foxhall, so to speak. Kiara and Rafe, they're not really working together here. She tries to convince Carlos that she can find the journal, but of course, like, this is so fucking stupid. He says to her, right, that, oh, if you let me go, I'll go get the journal. But like, there's not even a mention of, oh, you can keep a guard on me, or you can even come with me. It was just like, you just let me go, sure, and I'll come back here against my own, for no reason. I'll come back. But as the conversation's going on, that's when the text comes through from Jimmy's phone, and of course, once Carlos sees that, he realises that that her friends are very, very much alive, and that Jimmy may be dead, but yeah, her whole plan is just so. Basically, JJ's plan is completely counteract to her plan. Later on, Rafe's like, I'm the only friend you've got, we've got to team up. And they actually team up pretty well. Like, they pretend that he killed Kay and threw her in the bath, and then when the guard comes in to check, Rafe manages to batter him and tie him up with the bed sheets. Right, Rafe did a really good job this episode. Kiara then manages to send like a message to the phone that they've got, Jimmy's phone, which they're able to figure out that was her that received it, right? And then like her and Rafe manages to escape. Rafe then like batters this guy in back of a truck that's got like hay on it, and like Rafe's been booked really strong. You're like, fuck, is this the beginning of a face turn for Rafe? Like, we did see like her and him and Key mention the death of Sheriff Peterkin, which again, that literally feels like 10 years ago that I watched that. But again, alright, fair enough. Do. At this point though, they managed to get to the Pogues. They get to Rafe's boat. Rafe says he'll give her a lift back up the home, brother. We'll go home. But I'm not giving your friends, which she's like kind of debating, and then she like agrees to it. And then when Rafe comes to help her like untie the rope, she just pushes him off. She's like, I have to save my friends. And I thought, I actually feel like Rafe get done dirty here, right? I do, like, I get it. He is like a murderer, but I think he is conflicted, and he's probably the best character in the show. He's like not the main villain, but he's like, he kind of feels like the main villain because he's been there throughout. He's like the same age as these kids. He's fought with them the whole life, and yeah, kind of to me it feels kind of important. But yeah, so Rafe's been left behind. That's just going to come back to bite them in the arse if we're being honest. But after John B talks to her, he finally has the balls to be like, "Oh, it's okay, you can go, John." So he goes to see if his dad's up there, and the episode ends basically on that cliffhanger. But also back at the boat, Carlos and his men arrive, which force the Pogues to leave. But it's like, why the fuck were they even sitting here? Like, I get it, oh, John B this, John B that, but they're sitting in the middle of the open. It would only be a matter of time for this Carlos guy found them. Like, surely, like, they should have said to John B, here, what do we do? If his guys come, we have to leave. Or, like, surely he should have been like, right, don't wait for me, I have to go see if it's my dad. I'll find you somehow, something like that. That was stupid, right? Very stupid, but MVP of the episode, I'll get to Rafe boy. But until next time, I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10.